What if I sent 1,000 leads to your website right now? Would you be able to service them all, or would they fall through the cracks? See, a lot of agents think they have a lead flow problem. I think they need more leads, more traffic, right? But the real killer is often overlooked and rarely spoken on, right? And it's called lead follow-up. So in this video, we're going to deep dive into how to make more money with the leads that you're already getting, because it doesn't matter how much water you pour into a leaky bucket. If the holes never get plugged, the bucket will never fill, right? It doesn't matter how much leads you're getting. If you can't nurture the leads properly, or follow up with the leads properly, or convert the leads properly, there were going to just be leads in your CRM and never going to be actual clients. You're never going to actually make money from them. So let's do a quick recap. I've made 2 videos so far covering lead magnets. This is going to be the 3rd part of the series. So let's do a quick recap. What is a lead magnet? A lead magnet is just something that you offer, usually in exchange for someone's contact information. It could be a book, it could be a video series, it could be a training, it could be a PDF, it could be a guide, it could be it could be a raffle ticket. It doesn't matter, but usually something that you're offering in exchange for someone's contact information, usually something free for the most part, right? Now, why is a lead magnet important? I'm not going to get too deep into it because, again, I made 2 videos on it already. But a lead magnet is important because it is pretty much your hacker's insurance. What do I mean? If your social media platform gets hacked, doesn't matter if you have 1 million followers, 1 billion followers, 1,000 followers. If your social media platform gets hacked and you have no way to get back access, you are going to miss out or lose out on all the years of blood, sweat, and tear, hard work, and consistency that you spent creating, right? Whereas if you have an email list, if you have a lead magnet, it'll build your email list. And let's say you get hacked, but let's say you have 1,000 followers and you get hacked, but you still have those 1,000 followers on your email list, you'll still be able to market to them. You'll still be able to stay in touch. So you're not going to be starting from scratch. So this is what I call your hacker's insurance. By having a good lead magnet, you'll be able to build your email list. And by having a solid email list, it doesn't matter how many platforms you get hacked off, or how many shadow bans, or how many times you have to restart. As long as you have your list, you're good. You still be able to stay in touch with your contacts, stay in touch with your database. Also, it's super important because with a lead magnet and an email list, you can stay top of mind a lot easier. On social media, let's say you have 1,000 followers, you post a video, maybe 30% of your audience even get that video put in front of them. Now, I'm not saying they watched it, but just get the video put in front of them, maybe 30% of it, right? Whereas an email list, let's say you have 1,000 subscribers, if you send out an email, all 1,000 are going to get the email. Now, whether they open it, it's another story, but at least everyone got it. And so it's super important to have an email list and have a lead magnet. Now, the second thing I covered in video number 2 is creating a lead magnet. So in a nutshell, and if you want to go deeper into it, click here. I made a video already on it. I said you want to talk to 50 people that represent your target audience. So let's say you want to work with buyers. Talk to 50 people who are currently looking to buy a home, who have just recently bought a home and it's still fresh in their mind, the whole process, right? Or maybe interested in buying a home in the future. And you want to ask them 5 questions. First, what are you struggling with, or what are currently problems that you're dealing with for XYZ? So let's say getting ready to buy your first home. What are some of the things you've been struggling with recently, right? Second question, what are some fears or concerns you may have around XYZ? Third question is, what are you currently doing to get ready for XYZ? Fourth question, what is the ideal outcome you want when it's all said and done? And then the 5th question is, if I could wave a magic wand right now, what would you need to get you from where you are to that ideal outcome you just told me about? What do you need from me? Or what would you want from me if you could wave a magic wand? And so those 5 questions, when you're talking to people and surveying people, I want you to write these questions down. Write down all the responses. Don't paraphrase. Write it down as word for word as possible. Then you want to upload that into AI and say, hey, I just talked to 50 people that represent my target audience. Here's what they told me they're struggling with, their fears, whatever, and just copy and paste your responses. Can you help me come up with some lead magnet ideas that I can offer them, right? That is pretty much what I talked about in the last 2 videos at more depth, but I want to bring you up to speed. If you don't have a lead magnet, make sure you watch those 2 videos, or this video isn't really going to make all that much sense. But now that we got over the quick recap, let's get straight into today's video. And I want to start off by talking about these 5 levels of customer awareness. A lot of people don't know who they're marketing to or what stage of the buying process that they're even in. And if you don't know what stage someone's in, you're going to be marketing to them indirectly. And they may have wanted to work with you, but because you didn't market to them correctly, you're going to be losing out on a lot of clients, a lot of potential clients. So here are the 5 levels of customer awareness. I'm going to go into them pretty high level. So nothing too in-depth, but I just want you to become aware of this stuff. So the first level of customer awareness is unaware, meaning they don't know they have a problem. They are completely unaware. They don't know that they have something wrong with them, right? So that is the first level. Level number 2 is problem aware. So they know that they have something wrong with them, but they're not really sure if there's a way to fix it or solve it. Level 3, solution aware. This is where they understand they have a problem and they have a general sense of what they need to do to solve it, right? For example, let's say I have a problem, I'm overweight, right? I know I need to work out, right? I have a general sense. I don't know the exact things I need to do to lose weight, but I know I need to start working out or eating better, right? Level 4 is product aware. Now they're aware of the problem, they're aware of the solution, right? And they're aware now of specific products related to the problem, right? So for example, I'm overweight, could be the problem, right? The solution may be I need to start working out. A specific product may be signing up for a 30-day fitness challenge, a 30-day Zumba challenge, a 30-day detox. It's a specific product. Let's say signing up for high roast or signing up for a marathon, right? And then the last level and the highest level is brand aware. That's where they know about the problem, they know about the solution, they know about some of the different products available to solve it. But most importantly, they know about your specific solutions, right? They know about your specific solution that you are offering. So that's the difference between product aware and brand aware. Product aware is they understand some of the products or services or offers related to that problem. Brand aware is they know about your specific solutions to the problem. And so most of the common mistakes that a lot of agents make is that they assume that everyone is brand or product aware. For example, looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, give me a call, right? Give me a call. If you were to post that, right, you're assuming that they already know who you are and what you do and why they should work with you. So you're going to be marketing to only brand aware clients. Another example is looking to move to X city, give me a call. This is kind of like product / brand aware, right? This is more like product aware, right? Product aware. So here's why these are common mistakes and why this is important for you to understand. Majority of people are either completely unaware that they have a problem, they're problem aware, or they're solution aware, meaning they're in the first 3 levels. And so if you're not meeting them where they're at, you're going to be losing out on a majority of the potential leads that you could be getting. And even if traffic were to hit your website, because you're not marketing to them based on where they're at, you're going to be letting, again, a lot of water, flow out the leaky holes, right? The leaky bucket analogy, like I talked about earlier. So one thing that I want you to do is when you're creating your lead magnet, I want you to think about how can I create something for the first 3 stages, right? Unaware, problem aware, and solution aware. Right, so let's say we're working with a buyer, right? Let's say you want to attract first-time home buyers, right? If someone that's unaware, right, they have no idea they have a problem. It could be, hey, are you spending, $2,000 a month on rent, right? You could be putting that same money into home ownership, right? They don't know that they have a problem. They're just spending money on rent, whatever. Problem aware. It's like, hey, they know that renting is bad because of, again, you're not really getting any home equity benefits. You're not really getting any tax deductions for that. You're not building any generational wealth. So they know renting is bad, and now they want to potentially, do something about it. And then solution aware is now they're probably searching online, how to start buying your first home, right? They know they don't know what to do. They don't know anything about the process. And now they're starting to look online, hey, how much money you need for a down payment? Or what's the credit score you need to get a mortgage? Or do I talk to a realtor first, or do I get a mortgage first? Or they're going to start looking for stuff. So you want to meet people at these 3 stages because, again, that's going to open up your potential pool. Now, I want to be clear. The goal of a lead magnet is to get them into your ecosystem and show them how you're amazing you are. So yes, these 3 levels, right? Someone that's unaware, problem aware, solution aware, they might not be ready to convert right then and there. But the goal again is to just get them into your world, because then you can nurture them and follow up with them until eventually they're ready, right? So now when you're creating a lead magnet, I'm going to talk about some more advanced stuff that people that normally don't talk about in the real estate space at all. This is more like digital marketing world. Most people usually ask for people's contact information in exchange for their lead magnet. Most of the time, right? Now, there's exceptions, but generally speaking, right? So I want to talk about the actual lead magnet itself. So what contact information are you going to be asking for in exchange for your lead magnet once you have it created? There's a word in the digital marketing world called friction. And friction, it's just like steps, more steps. So more friction means there's more steps involved. And so usually the more steps involved, the less likely someone is to opt into your lead magnet. The less steps involved, the more likely they are to opt into your lead magnet. So for example, let's say you post a photo or post your lead magnet on social media, or maybe a post about it. Say, hey, I just created, my top 7 things to do in my city if you're looking to move here but aren't familiar, right? Let's say that was your lead magnet. And someone were to go click, hey, I want this, you could just ask for their email and give it to them. Or you can ask for their name, their email, their phone number, expected move-in date. Are they currently working with a realtor, right? So the second option has more, quote unquote, friction, right? There's more steps involved to get that lead magnet. And now there is no right way or wrong way. You just have to decide for yourself, what is the game that you want to play? Do you want to play a high volume game? Right? And you just have, like, let's say you just put in your email and you get more leads, but then you have to work a little harder to get the extra information you need out of them to see whether or not they're a hot lead or not. Or do you want to put more steps in the beginning, right? Like name, number, email, move-in date, where they're looking, buying, like whatever you want to add to it, and get a higher quality lead, but get less leads. So it's, again, no right or wrong way. I just want you to keep in mind, like, all right, what am I going to ask for in exchange for this lead magnet? The more steps involved, the higher the intent someone probably has, the less likely I'm going to get a large volume of leads. But the lower intent, the lower the quality of leads, but the higher number of total leads I'll get. So again, it just becomes a numbers game and really is dependent on how you want to play. But those are some things I want you to think about. Once you have your lead magnet, first think about, okay, all right, unaware, problem aware, solution aware. How can I create a lead magnet for people that attracts people in that stage? All right. Then the second thing is, when you're thinking about the lead magnet, what am I going to ask for in exchange for this lead magnet? Right? Am I going to ask for just their email, name, email number, or, add some extra steps, right? Now, I'm going to do a quick breakdown of my lead magnet so that you can get an idea as to something that you could potentially create. And I'm going to break down what it is first, why I created it the way I did, and how it's working for me. So my current main lead magnet is my social media diagnostic, right? And it pretty much covers, why your social media sucks and how to fix it. Why you're not attracting buyers and sellers from social media and how to fix it. And the lead magnet itself is an assessment. Now, an assessment, that's a bunch of questions pretty much, right? My lead magnet, my diagnostic is 20 questions. So plus name, number, email. So there's a lot of steps involved to go through it, right? In order to get my diagnostics, you have to fill out 20 questions plus your contact info. That's a lot of steps involved. And so I know I'm probably not going to get a ton of leads to be just filling that out. But that's okay for me, because the game that I'm playing is higher intent. I'm looking for people who actually want help with their social media. And ideally, people who are already using social media to extent, because those are the people that can best help. If it's 2076 right now, if you still don't believe that you can get business from social media, it's different to believe like, oh, I'm too busy for this. It's different to believe like, oh, I don't have the time, or, maybe sometime later I'll prioritize it. But like, it's 2026. If you don't think that you can get leads from social media, right? I'm not here to convince you that you are. There's more than enough case studies. There's people who've built billion-dollar businesses just off of social media followings alone. So if you don't think that you can do that, right? Again, I'm not saying you got to build $1 billion business, but if you don't think that you can get at least a couple clients from social media in 2026, I'm not here to convince you. So again, that's why I have my diagnostic be so many questions, because I'm looking for people who are already somewhat using it or interested in it or want to prioritize it, but are struggling to get the results they're looking for and need maybe some clarity, need some help executing. So that is my game plan for why I create an assessment. Now, the reason also why I create an assessment is because there's a bunch of benefits with an assessment for both me and the person taking it, right? First, the questions that I'm asking in the assessment are going to bring awareness to the person taking the diagnosis, right? It's going to take them through a bunch of questions, and most of these questions they've probably never thought of. One of the reasons why I made this 3-part YouTube series all about lead magnets is because out of the 54 people that have taken my diagnostic as to this point in time of recording, 27 of them have said that they've never used a lead magnet to turn their viewers into leads. 27, never at all. That's roughly half. I think that's exactly half, if I'm not mistaken, exactly half. Another 13 or 14, if I'm not mistaken, said they rarely use a lead magnet to turn their viewers into leads. So that's why I made this 3-part series. Most people aren't even thinking about creating a lead magnet. Another one that people aren't thinking about is, what is their funnel? What is the process that you're going to take people through to go from viewer to client? And so as they're answering these questions in my diagnostics, they're starting to think about things that they probably never thought of before. And so now they're getting more awareness, more ideas. And that's even before they get the actual the diagnosis. Right. The second reason, I'm asking in my diagnostics behavioral questions. So instead of saying, how often do you use a lead magnet to turn your viewers into leads? Instead of saying 1, not likely, 2, unlikely, 3, neutral, 4, and 5, super likely, right? Instead of doing 1 through 5, most people would score themselves higher, because no one likes to fail themselves. No one likes to score poorly, right? No one wants to be a failure. And so if you did a numbered assessment, right, some people may have a bias to score themselves higher, not because they're dishonest or liars, but that just it's a natural tendency that people tend to have. So I had behavioral questions. So instead of saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I had never, rarely, sometimes, often, always. Because now they have to be a lot more honest with themselves. Okay, how often am I actually doing this? Never, rarely, versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Most people just want to get a higher score, right? Not intentional, not because they're bad people, but again, who doesn't want to have a higher score? So that's why I asked behavioral questions in my assessment. The third thing, for my assessment, I have my contact info at the end. So now, if you were to take that assessment and go through those 20 questions and get to the end and it's I'm right there. And then they ask for your contact info to send it. Now you have to make a decision. Do I just sit here and leave the page and waste my time? Or do I get what I came here to get, which is this diagnostic, right? And I put it at the end because if it was at the beginning and someone didn't know me, and then he wants my contact info, I'm going to get email marketing, I'm going to get spam, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Whatever preconceived notion they may have. And then they may choose to opt out or leave or not, take the diagnostic, even though they were originally interested. But now they start the diagnosis almost immediately. They go through all the questions, and at the very end, it asks for their contact info. And so that just makes sure that, again, they don't waste their time, and I can actually reach out to them. And I'm asking in my lead magnet for name, email, number, nothing more than that. Now, the lead magnet itself, once you take the assessment, it takes you to 1 of 4 pages depending on your score with semi-personalized results. So long story short, my lead magnet, it pretty much scores you based on clarity and execution. If you have low clarity and low execution, you go to 1 page. If you have high clarity but low execution, you go to another page. If you have low clarity but high execution, you go to 1 page. And then if you have high clarity and high execution, you go to the last page. And on one of these 4 pages, it talks about why you're stuck in this stage, and based on that stage, how you can get to the final stage, which is high clarity and high execution. Right, so it's semi-personalized. So now they're getting not just random blanketed social media advice. It's still somewhat blanketed, but blanketed to people in their specific stage based on what they're most likely currently struggling with and based on their answers. Right, and so again, now they're getting clarity, they're getting awareness just by going through the assessment. Right, they're getting a personalized game plan right? A semi-personalized game plan once they finish. And so super beneficial for them, especially again, if they are interested in social media. But for me, I'm getting tons of data, tons and tons and tons of data, right? So I now have 20 questions that people are talking all about marketing and social media, whatever, that people are answering. And I'm keeping a track of all those. So I can see, okay, generally speaking, what are most agents struggling with? And as I continue to go to more speaking engagements, I continue to make more content, as I continue to get in front of more people and offer this diagnostics. Right now I have 54 people that have taken it completely. Now let's say a year from now, let's say I have 1,000 people that's taken it, right? I'm gonna have so much data to pull from, right? It's gonna be insane. So all my marketing decisions are gonna be based off the data I'm receiving instead of me guessing. So that's why I went with my lead magnet with an assessment. Another lead magnet that I've done in the past is my AI starter kit, right? So my AI starter kit is pretty much my top 10 prompts that I've created, or my top. This is what I think it's expanded now to like closer to 20. My top, let's say 10 to 20-ish prompts that I've created to help you with things like creating a content calendar, creating a lead magnet, creating a newsletter, creating video scripts, and all those prompts are already pre-created, where all you have to do is copy and paste it into your own ChatGPT. And if you want that, that's also in the description below. For that one, I just ask for people's email information, just their email, not even their name, just the email. You put in your email and then it sends it over to you. And so I have different lead magnets that I offer depending on the situation. How I plan to use this diagnostic is, one, I plan to have it on my website, so if people can take it as soon as they want. I plan to put it in my content, like, hey, if you're struggling to get the results you want from social media and you're stuck and you don't know why, hey, you could take this diagnostic. But also too, when I'm doing like speaking events, right, I'm going to say, hey, one thing I did, I just came back from a speaking event in Houston at the time of recording this. And while I was out there, midway through the presentation, I asked the question, how many of you guys want this to continue being a lecture, or do you want it to be more workshop style? And of course, everyone opted in for more workshop style, because who wants to sit through a lecture? And so right there, I had everyone in the room. There's a room with 30 or 25, I think. I had, 21 people of the 25 fill out the diagnostics right then and there. Right. So how you use the lead magnet is super essential. And if you use it correctly, you can go into a room and convert pretty much the entire room to get your lead magnet and opt in. So that's a little bit of high level as to why I created my lead magnet the way I did. Hopefully it gives you some idea. But the last thing I want to cover while we're still here, right? The last thing I want to cover is, let me open my notes, is follow-up, right? Follow-up. Why is follow-up important? Because you have to strike the iron while it's hot. What do I mean by that? Open rates are highest immediately after opting in. So right when someone opts into your lead magnet, and let's say you send them an email or a text, that's going to be where they have the highest likelihood of actually opening it and checking it out. So it's important to follow up to your leads, and this is what I really want to get down into today, is follow up, and it's important. So some people, a tiny minority of people, when they opt into your lead magnet, right, they're going to see it. It's going to be amazing, right? It's probably going to bring something to their attention that wasn't there prior. And then if you put the right offer in front of them in that moment, they will convert into a client, right? They will convert into a client. But if not, you're going to, again, be losing out on a ton of people. So as soon as someone opts in, you want to present them with the next step. So let's say your lead magnet is a home buyer guide, right? Well, then right after they opt into the home buyer guide, they say, hey, now that you have this guide, do you actually want to, go see a couple properties next weekend? Right? That's a potential example. But it's giving people constantly the next step. At every stage of the process, prompt people to the next step so they can continue moving forward. Don't kill the momentum, right? I always say the law of inertia, right? Object in motion stays in motion. An object at rest stays at rest. So if you give them a fire lead magnet, got all this momentum, and then you just ghost them, you're never going to get anything from their leads. And I actually have a story about this. A client that I was working with, the year prior to me and her working together, they ran a pretty successful ad campaign, meta campaign. And they got, I believe within 2 months, they had a free ebook showing the 7 legal tax loopholes. And they had, I think, close to 800, if not 830 people opt in for that lead magnet. 830 people raised their hand, gave their email to get that lead magnet. And yet, no one booked they didn't get any clients from it. Why? Because their follow-up on the back end was non-existent. And so that's something that we worked on immediately once we started working together this past year. But the year before we started working together, they had 830 leads that just fell through the cracks. And so it's important to have your follow-ups in place. Now, another reason why it's important to have follow-up and automations after someone opts in is because the overwhelming majority of people won't be ready to work with you right then and there. And they're going to need more nurturing. They're going to need more time in the oven, right? We live in a country right now that's filled with renters. Most people aren't homeowners, right? Meaning they don't have any houses to buy and don't have any houses to sell. And so most people are also not investors. So they're not actively in the market trying to search and buy property, right? So most people, knowing that they're not homeowners, so they don't have a home to buy or sell, they're not investors, right? The average person maybe moves once in a decade, right? If you just get leads but never follow up with them, you'll forever be, just not getting any business. So when you create a good follow-up system, the point one is first to make sure they consume the lead magnet. So as soon as they opt into the lead magnet, make sure you send them some sort of follow-up saying, hey, in case you didn't get a chance to look it over or watch it or whatever your lead magnet is, read it, listen to it, receive it, here's an email or here's a text with the link to make sure that you got it, right? Boom. So you want to make sure that they consume the thing that they actually opted in for before you moved on to the next step. And then from there, you want to make sure when you're following up with them that they get to know a little bit about you, right? People always say people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? They just need to know a little bit of information about what got you into the industry that you're in, what made you start helping people and doing the stuff that you do today. You want to share some sort of case study or testimonial of the types of people that you helped and the different type of ways that you helped them, right? The reason you want to do this is so the person watching on the other side, they can start to self-identify, right? So let's say you're helping first-time home buyers, right? And you helped Bob the buyer who didn't have any money saved, right? And you help him get down payment assistance to get his first home. Someone that's watching it who may also not have money saved for a down payment, they might see themselves in Bob the buyer and be like, oh crap, I was just waiting because I didn't have the down payment saved. But now, because I've seen you talk about Bob, now I'm interested. Now I know that there's a possibility that you can also help me as well. So you want to share some case studies or testimonial so that the people watching or reading, right, they can see themselves in that person and start to believe that it's a possibility for them as well to get the result that you help with. And then the last kind of thing is invite them to take the next step. So again, if you're working with someone that wants to be a buyer and they got your home buyer guide, you want to invite them to like say, hey, you want to go see some properties, or hey, let's see how much you're actually qualified for. Like, what is the next step in your process? Once they get that lead magnet, keep it moving. And so the last thing I actually want to discuss is quick little high level digital marketing ones and twos. First things first, your lead magnet, when you're offering people this lead magnet, you want to send them to your opt-in page. What is the opt-in page? Think of it kind of like this. Well, your website is a bunch of pages, right? You have your home page, your about me page, your contact us page, your services page, right? Your privacy notice. Like, you have all these different pages on your website. Versus your opt-in page, it's usually just one page, right? Now, this opt-in page, all it really needs is a headline, right? A sub-headline maybe, and then your opt-in form. Nothing too crazy. So your headline could be find out why for example, my social media diagnostic, the headline for that lead magnet, if I'm not mistaken, let me check for you right now. The headline, I'm pretty sure, is stop and stare media. Find out why your content isn't turning into clients. I might change it, but that's my headline. My sub-headline is simple. In 5 minutes, discover what's blocking your results and unlock your personalized playbook to fix it. Nice and simple, right? Headline, sub-headline, and then it's just a form for my diagnostics. Nice, simple, and easy, right? Then once they fill that out, you're going to send them to a thank you page. The thank you page is where they get the lead magnet, right? So, hey, on the thank you page, it could be, let's say your lead magnet is a guide. So on the thank you page, it'll just be a button to download the guide, right? Or something like that. And then also, it's important that on the thank you page, you also tell them what the next steps are. Hey, here's your free buyer's guide. Hey, if you're interested in figuring out how much you qualify for, or if you're interested in going to see some houses this weekend, click this button below and we can set up a time to talk. So you gotta think a little bit, okay, where am I using this lead magnet? What's my overall strategy? Like, hey, I want to get leads so I can book them on a call. Well then, right, once you offer the lead magnet, the next step is to book them to the call, right? And let's say your next step is, for me, when I offer my lead magnet, the next step usually after the diagnostics I'm pushing people towards is to sign up for the AI Won't Replace Me Challenge. It's a 5-day coaching experience, group coaching challenge, where we're going to deep dive into how to create a simple, successful, scalable, and sustainable social media strategy so you can actually start attracting more buyers and sellers from social media without going viral, without having to dance in front of your open house, without having to follow all the trends or keep up with the algorithm. And it's going to be for people, like, even if you're like not tech savvy, or if you're too busy, you think like the process is bulletproof. So when I'm taking people in my diagnostics, after they complete it, they get the results, and then pushes them, hey, if you want to actually deep dive into this more and get help doing this, sign up for my challenge. So always push people to that next step. Now, if you're wondering, hey John, where can I build that quote unquote opt-in page, or where can I do these email automations? Like, what tools are involved between selling the emails out and the follow-ups and all that stuff? That's a very good question. The platform I highly recommend is called Kajabi. Kajabi is your one-stop shop for everything I need. I've been using them for now 3 years. I've been to 2 of their in-person conferences. I love the platform. It's very user-friendly, and like they have a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Like, it can host pretty much a business in a box tool. It can host your website. It can host all your lead magnets. It can host, it can do like what a CRM does, right? It can send out the emails for you. It can send out SMX follow-ups for you. It can do all that stuff and automate all that stuff for you. So if you have a lead magnet, you're not duct taping like a WordPress website with a Google form and then maybe a Google Sheet, and it's like then maybe connecting it to MailChimp, and then maybe using Zapier to like duct tape it all together, right? Using Kajabi is just going to make everything simpler and easier for you. That's something that I build out for people. So if you need someone to build out your funnel, build out your automation, all that stuff, that's something that we can talk about. Let me know if you're interested. It's down in the description. As I bring everything to a close, right, here's one of the things I want you to really consider with your lead magnet. Just to summarize, 1, think about your traffic, right? How aware are they? Stop marketing only to brand aware and product aware people. The majority of people in the world are either unaware, problem aware, solution aware. So when you're creating a lead magnet, make sure you package it in a way that would resonate with the people in that level of awareness. 2, when you're giving away a lead magnet, think about how much information do you want in exchange for it. Is it just the email, or do you want something like what I have, and you have like an assessment or some sort of like application, right? Or some sort of like, or maybe you want somewhere in the middle, just name, email, phone number. Doesn't matter. There's no right way or wrong way. Just know what you're getting yourself into. It. The more steps you have, the less people will usually opt in, right? And then when you do get your lead, right, when they opt in for it, make sure you follow up immediately. Have email flows in place, smart plans in place to keep up with them, or SMS campaigns in place to keep up with those people, right? Because like small percentage of those people will be ready to take the next step. But if you don't follow up with them, right, you're going to end up like one of my old clients who, again, got 830 leads, but no business from it because there was no follow-up in place. And then once you have all that together, create your little landing page. Use a tool like Kajabi, right, the thank you page. That way you can have all your stuff in-house, right? You're not duct taping different tools together. And that being said, if you sat through to the end of this video and you need more help creating like a lead magnet specifically, make sure to watch video 2 in this series where I deep dive into that. Click here.